So encouraged today through Exodus, and I hope you are too. I'm reading actually James 1 verse 27 first today, and I want you to be encouraged and empowered to not only read the New Testament but the Old Testament with it, because the New Testament draws so much from the Old Testament, and understanding the whole story of the Bible will get you more revelation about Jesus Christ and will connect more dots for you. As a result, you will then be able to see and act and do and be all that God's called you to be in a more knowledgeable way. Not only knowledgeable, but wisdom, understanding, zeal, increased faith, etc. So James chapter 1, verse 27 says this: religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. The world back in that day and the world today didn't really care about orphans and widows. They don't. We don't, right? You just see generation after generation of people experiencing homelessness, family. Yesterday I was at this burned down complex, and in line for food and blankets was this mom and two girls, and I was just like, oh my goodness, what can I do? There's problems to solve, and we can't solve them all at once, but we must try to do that. We must try to serve our brothers and sisters on the streets. And let's go back to Exodus 22. Exodus 22, and this was what I found encouraging this morning, and I read and then looked further for cross-references and commentaries. And it says this in verse 22, Exodus 22, verse 22. Do not take advantage of the widow or fatherless. If you do, they cry out to me, and they cry out to me. I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless. So God has offered complete justice for you and for me as we cry out for them. When I was 14, on the verge of suicide, I had just moved into my third home, and I'd lost my mom when I was 9 in a tragic accident from a tree limb that fell on her 3 days after a divorce my mom and dad got. So really I lost 3 months after the divorce my mom and dad got. I lost both parents when I was 9 years old. And my mom's friends took me in, couldn't make it or survive there. My uncle and aunt then took me in at 14. And as a result, I was lifeless. And I cried out to God with everything in me. And I mean everything, cussing included. And towards the end, he responded to me by adopting me, reminding me, taking me in. You, James, are my son. I love you. I've always loved you, and I will never stop loving you. One day I'm going to use you for something special. And in that process, as a 14-year-old lifeless boy, I was found as a son of God and adopted and reminded that he is my father. And today I wanted to remind you that you are his daughter or son. So take that with you. Take that connection with you. And it's amazing that I got this implication, this revelation from Exodus chapter 22. Spend time with God today. And most importantly, know that he hears your cry. He cares about you. And yes, some of us have mothers and fathers, and we're still mother and fatherless. I understand that. Cry out to God. He's your perfect father. When you cry out to him first, he will then help you and mold you and shape your perspective correctly on your earthly mother and father.